Life cycle of phylum Chlorophyta, also known as green alga, in less than 10 minutes. Chlamydomonas is one of the simplest unicellular motile green alga in the animal kingdom, found in stagnant freshwater and saltwater as scum, with some species found in snow. It has an oval-shaped structure, cup-shaped chloroplast, single central nucleus, two equal-sized flagella, contractile vacuoles, pyrenoids, eye spot, along with other organelles. Chlamydomonas has an aplontic life cycle capable of asexual and sexual reproduction. In favorable conditions, asexual reproduction occurs. Adult haploid vegetative cells lose their flagella, become circular, and non-motile lose sporangia. Mitosis takes place within the protoplast and undergoes 2 to 4 mitotic divisions. These divisions form spores, which are released when cell wall is ruptured. Released spores are haploid zoospores, which develop into adult Chlamydomonas. In unfavorable conditions, such as lack of nitrogen in their environment, sexual reproduction takes place. Cells can differentiate into gametes from each mating type. Gametes fuse to form diploid quadriflagellate zygote, which then forms a circular zygospore. Zygotic meiosis induces protoplast divisions to form daughter haploid flagellated spores called meiospores. These spores are released to develop into biflagellate haploid cells called zoomeospores and grow into new Chlamydomonas, completing the cycle. Ulothrix is a genus of green alga commonly referred to as pond scum or silk. Pond silk refers to their slimy and slippery physical property. It can be found in both marine and freshwater environments, especially in nutrient-rich lakes and streams, forming mats or attached to different substrates. It also has a filamentous structure with 3 types of cells: the holdfast, vegetative cells, and apical cell. It also has a horseshoe-shaped chloroplast, a central nucleus, central vacuole, pyrenoids, and other organelles. Ulothrix also has an aplontic life cycle capable of asexual and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, cells and vegetative filament become zoosporangia and protoplast undergo mitotic division, dividing to several zoospores. Cell wall ruptures and quadriflagellate zoospores are released. Zoospores attach to substrate to form a new vegetative filament. In sexual reproduction, vegetative cells become gametangia, and protoplasts undergo mitosis to divide into several gametes. Cell wall ruptures and biflagellate gametes are released. Gametes unite to form a quadriflagellate diploid zygote, and the zygote undergoes zygotic meiotic division. Zygote loses its flagella and becomes circular zygospore. Several haploid meiospores are produced and released as quadriflagellate zoomeospores when the structure ruptures. These spores attach to a substrate and form a new vegetative filament. Spirogyra is another genus commonly known as pond scum or pond silk. It is commonly found in freshwater ponds, lakes, and streams, forming floating mats or attached to a substrate. It is also filamentous with 3 types of cells: an outer cell wall producing mucilage layer, large central vacuole, central nucleus suspended by cytoplasmic strands, chloroplasts are ribbon-shaped and spirally coiled arranged the vacuole, pyrenoids, and other organelles. Now, Spirogyra also has an aplontic life cycle, capable of either sexual or asexual reproduction. Spirogyra asexually produces through simple fragmentation. A vegetative filament breaks into 2 or more segments, and each segment forms a new organism. Sexual reproduction is more complex, utilizing conjugation. 2 filaments are linked through mucilage and connected by a papillae bulge from both cells. Cytoplasmic content becomes contact and circular. Both cells become gametangia, with one of the cell contents becoming a male gamete and the other a female gamete. Papillae fuse and a conjugation bridge is formed. This is where the male gamete moves into the female gametangia. Gametes fuse within the female gametangium to form a diploid zygote. A layer is then formed around the zygote, creating a zygospore. Meiosis results in 4 haploid nuclei, out of which 3 may degenerate. Remaining nucleus would give rise to new young Spirogyra filament, continuing the life cycle. Oedogonium is a free-living marine algae present in freshwater, both benthic and planktonic. It is also filamentous with 3 types of cells. It has a 3-layer cell wall, a large central vacuole, nucleus, and reticulate net-like chloroplast. Some cells have ring-like caps below the crosswall. The number of caps on the cells in a filament signifies how many times a cell has divided. Oedogonium also has an aplontic life cycle and capable of either asexual or sexual reproduction. They have 2 ways of asexual reproduction, through zoospores and fragmentation. In using zoospores, zoosporangium protoplasts mitotically divide into zoospores. Zoospores have a ring of flagella around the base. Zoospores are released from the vesicle and float freely in water to find a substratum. Once a substratum is found, these zoospores attach as holdfast cells and divide to form new filament. In fragmentation, Oedogonium filaments split apart, and each part gives rise to a new filament. In sexual reproduction, antheridium or short-stacked cells produce and release sperm. Sperm sinks through the water until it meets with the oegonium, also known as the swollen cell, which contains a large egg. If the sperm successfully fertilizes the egg, a zygote is formed. A zygospore is later formed and released into the water to develop multiflagellated zoospores. Once zoospores mature, the zygospore splits open and releases zoospores, which then attach to a substrate. Cells in zoospores divide to produce a new vegetative filament.